What scared me the most is not even just seeing a being who is half human and half tail, but what scared me is what that being was doing. I saw these men, they were serving, they had trays, they were carrying trays, and these trays were trays of hands of men. They had chopped off hands of men, and they were putting the tray on some on the right, and then there are trays that they were bringing that had babies, and this mother of the sea was mostly interested in eating the heads of these babies. As I explained in the previous documentary, that not everyone that we see is 100% human. There are some people that are not 100% human. There are some people that are hybrid. They are a mixture of I don't know how to bring it out, but they are not 100% human. They are not coming from only human beings. There are people who have entered into covenant with the kingdom of darkness, and they have had children that God forbid us to have, and they have gotten entangled in relationships that God forbid us to have, and as a result they get people who are not 100% human. And in my experience of serving in the kingdom of darkness, I came across those people, and these people really disorganized my life. After my primary school, I was 11, my mother took me to a single-sex school where she thought that if she took me there, she's somehow protecting me from being disturbed by the opposite sex, and also I would be able to concentrate in my academics. And that's where I met that friend that I spoke about in some documentary, who was a sorcerer, and the uncle had initiated him. The uncle of that lady had a business in Mombasa, but he had entered into a covenant with the Marine Kingdom, and he dedicated her there. He covenanted her there, and she had children in the Marine Kingdom, and she was doing exploits in the kingdom of darkness. So her mission for joining secondary school is not because she was looking for a future. They already had money, but they were looking for souls. And schools, those are places that they target. Schools, universities, institutions, those are places where the enemy sends his agents to target, especially children that are coming from Christian homes. So now...
Absolutely, those are initiation grounds.
Yes. So among the students that came was a strange student. And this student, when she entered the room, it's like she really concentrated on me. I want to use her name, but because these people are so secretive and the legal implications, they have a common name that they were using. They are siblings. They were all using Muhammad, but let me use Saida. Now, when she entered in my class, the teacher told me to find her where she's going to sit and give her the rules and regulations of the class and everything that she's supposed to do, and the timetable as a class monitress. When I went to this girl, she was so beautiful because she was kind of a half caste. She was half Arab, and what I didn't know is that she was not 100% human. That one I got to find out later. She had this kind of striking beauty that would attract people's attention, but instead of drawing people towards her, it would push people away from her. She was fierce. So even when she entered classroom, girls were talking, but when she entered, everyone went quiet, and for some reason they could not tell why they were quiet all of a sudden. And she had this commanding presence that commands attention. Everybody stops what they are doing and they look at her, and for some reason they are intimidated. But
so not everyone that you see that looks like a human being is 100% human being. This thing is not new. Satan has been mixing and matching DNA ever since the beginning of time. And why would we assume that he stopped? He never stopped. So sometimes you might see a story come out and they say, oh, it's the first clone that they did, or the first this or the first. It's not the first. It's definitely not the first. So these beings, they can look like human beings to the point that they can even deceive you. And you may believe that that's a human being that you're interacting with. And of course, they are children of the devil. Satan has children, and these are all his seed. And what are their missions? Of course, it's the same thing as his mission: steal, kill, destroy. They go out into, you heard what she said, right? They go out into the universities. That's where you find all these young students who are thinking about what they're going to do in life. And that's like a playing field for them, a playing ground. So people who like to sleep around, there's certain things coming up in this video. You better be aware. You better be aware. When you think you're having fun, you better be aware that you may very well be just a short step away from the grave, just because you cannot control your appetite.
The other thing I noticed, these girls had money. They were not coming to school to look for a future. They already had one, but they were coming on a mission, and the mission was to initiate other students and to sacrifice students, to do a lot of things that I later discovered.
And one of the things that they do in these universities, they initiate and sacrifice students. Initiate and sacrifice students. A lot of initiations take place in universities. A lot of human sacrifices take place as well. This is not a joke. The devil doesn't play. A lot of people are out here playing, unaware that there's a real enemy after your soul, and you're out here playing. Meanwhile, he's making you believe that he's playing with you, but he doesn't come to play. In his game, somebody ends up dead. Somebody has to end up dead.
So now one day, Ida, my friend, she decides to take me so that I see, because I kept on asking, where did they get these things from? Where did they get, their lotions are so good. Their perfume smells so nice. But even if you go to any supermarket, you cannot find it. You cannot find, their clothes are so unique. Even if you walk the whole boutiques in your area, you cannot find any cloth like that. They have, everything that they have is so unique. So I kept on asking, you people, where do you work? Okay, is it that your dad is rich and he's providing? And where is your daddy working from? You have to find out, because they have everything. They are students like you, but they have apartments, they have cars, things. They have things going on in their lives. Yeah, so Ida said, you're beginning to feel uncomfortable with us, but now I am going to take you and show you. I'll first of all show you my mom. My mom is not staying here with us, but I want us to go and visit my mom. Then she said, our dad is a businessman. He's a businessman. And our dad, you will know more about him when I take you to see my mom. I'll give you the details of our dad and how we ended up here. Our dad is also not here. He's staying with the other rude sister. Yes. So we go to this beach in Entebbe, have fun, and I'm asking her, what time are we going to go and see your mom? She said, don't worry. We'll go at around 9 to see my mom.
At night?
9 at night, yes. You go and see my mom. Don't worry. So now, when that time of partying, we are drinking, they are swimming, we are having fun. So when it gets to night time, the guards are very strict. They don't allow anybody to go in the water. But these girls have a way of going about things. Either they bribe these people or they use spells on them, and somehow things are done the opposite. So when it got to 9, I saw the sisters diving in the water and they are swimming. And I told her, it's dangerous. You know, it's late in the night. These girls are swimming, and I know how they swim. They go very far. I told her, my friend, you're going to put me in trouble. We are supposed to go and see your mom. How are we going to wait for them and then go and see your mom? Again, they've started their things of disappearing. She said, no, it's okay. We can be here and wait for them. So we also started having fun at the beach, started having fun. And later she said, come and I show you something. So we walked in the water. We were walking, but you know, at the beach, there is that place where you walk and the water is coming up to your legs. And then you start seeing that it's getting deeper and deeper. So when it's got to a point that the water is in our waist, I said, what do you want to show me? I'm scared. I cannot move from here because I'm not a good swimmer like you and your sisters. I cannot swim like you people. I'm not going to go deep. And you know, that water, it brings waves, and sometimes they come and they can cover you or pull you to the extreme end. So I told her, I'm not feeling comfortable to proceed from here with you because I cannot defend myself. I don't have a life jacket, and nobody's here to save us in case I start drowning. I cannot proceed from here. So she said, it's okay. I wanted you to see 2 pillars. I said, the 2 pillars where? Here in the water? She said, yeah, there are 2 pillars that help you to discover who you are. I said, how? How can a pillar help me to discover who I am? I already know who I am, you know? So how can a pillar help me? She said, there is a pillar on the right and a pillar on the left. Now, the pillar on the right represents you. And she told me, it represents you in your human form. Now, the pillar on the left, it represents the spiritual version of you. So she said, once you go through the pillar, you will have gone through a ritual that is going to make you to be stronger than you are in your physical being. And there are things that you can do when you're in your spiritual being that you can't do when you're in your physical being. And why you cannot swim or do things like us is because you're in your physical being. So I was like, now, where is the pillar here? She said, if you make like 2 or 3 steps, you cross the pillar and then you understand. And she said, and then there is a gate that will open, and then you also be able to open your eye, your third eye.
Oh.
So now I kept on wondering, how is a gate going to be open, and how am I going to open my third eye, and how am I going to have the spiritual me and the physical me, and how am I going to be strong like them? You know, I could not understand her language because it was so deep. It was a spiritual language that she was using, but she convinced me. She said, you're not going to die. Just 2-3 steps is not. So when I made the first step, I realized that I'm going down. And I made the second step, I was also going down. And then the third step, it pulled me, and I would now see like the water is here, but it's like I'm not drowning. It's like something is supporting me. And then a wave came, and then it covered us. And I realized we had passed through the pillars. That time I'm getting down. So
when the water was about to cover you, did you see any pillars?
Yes. I would feel like I'm stepping on stairs. Yeah, I'm going down and down. So when the water came to cover us, it pushed me past the pillars. There were 2 pillars on the side, one on the right and one on the left. And then I also noticed there was a star that she said that is a gate, and then there was a certain light, and she said that the third eye, it helps me to see things, but in a different way. And I'll be able to understand. I'll be able to see things differently, like them, and also now freely interact with her and her people. Yeah, so now I found myself in another world. And how I can describe this place?
You were wet when you were walking in.
Yes.
You were covered in water.
Yes.
You were even covered by the time you entered in through the 2 pillars.
Yes. But now when
once you entered that place,
through the pillar, I could not feel any water anymore on me. It's like the water was above us and we were below it. So now, I'm now coming in reality with who my friend is. And for her, she's at home.
And what did that feel like?
I was so scared. Didn't know if I've been trapped forever again the second time.
The experience of transitioning from one dimension into another.
I just felt light. Like instead of drowning in the water, I was feeling like there is a force that is supporting me until we were covered.
Okay.
Yeah, because naturally, if you're not swimming, you have to drown. But now when we went there and I stepped on those steps and the water is strong and on our neck, instead of drowning, I was feeling like something is holding me, supporting me, and I'm floating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she said it is a ritual that I'm going to go through, and then I will be able now to interact with her family members.
So that was the ritual?
Yes, that was the ritual. Now, I'm now at her home. And she said, you're going to see my mom. And now, I'm seeing the steps. Now, let me describe. The steps are built like a pyramid, but we were now stepping down. And the other thing I saw is, on those steps, there's that kind of weed that grows on the steps, like it's like a soft carpet, but green. It's slippery. That weed is slippery, but it's soft. So, also, because our bodies are not wired to be there, I was feeling like I had soaked myself in water and the skin had dried, but I had not applied a lotion. So it's like a crack skin. That's the kind of skin that I had. Meanwhile, my friend was looking very pretty, because for her, she's at home. So me, I'm feeling uncomfortable. My skin is reacting to the place. And then also, I'm looking at the atmosphere. In there are cities. But these cities, the way I was seeing them, it's like the way they build, they don't paint. And everything is with rocks. So you can be in a rock, but it's a city. And it's like a world, There are activities that are going on there. So,
cities, buildings, or
real buildings, like the way we are in this building inside. But the thing is, even if they are in the water is not pouring on them. They are designed places where you can see the waters, but it's not everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So we go to this place and she tells me to sit. It's like a dining table, but it's made of rocks, and even the chairs are from rocks. When you're just looking at it from another angle, you cannot know that that's a dining. But that place is so advanced that everything just automatically works. So I just found myself sitting there, and then they had containers or dishes where they eat, but these dishes are made out of rocks and they are beautiful dishes. Everything there literally is made out of rock and dust. But everything there is advanced. It's like this, when you enter, you know that these places have been here, but they have been forsaken. You can feel like, how you enter a house where people have not been. It's a beautiful house, but there has not been anybody staying there. How you feel when you're entering that place, that's how I felt when I was entering this place. So now, there's one thing that scared me. She said, now it's time for you to see my mom. And to see her mom, if where I'm sitting, if I'm to say the direction that the mom was, it was on my far end, on the right. And then on the left, there are two like, how do I say, corridors. One that goes this side and the other that goes the other side. So she said, you're going to see my mom, then you're going to see my sister's mom, the one that is rude, my classmate. You're going to see her mom. But that one, it will depend on if my sister is willing to be your friend, because as it is, she seems not to be interested in your friendship. I don't know why, but she takes a while to accept people in her life. She doesn't just accept people, but I'm going to convince her to be your friend. Okay. So now, thing that shocked me, so very handsome men in that place, they had been enslaved. Very handsome men, young men, they had been enslaved. And now that is as we were going to see her mom. These men were in chains. And some of them were free, but it's like they had forgotten who they were. And they were working and serving. They were rendering service to her mom. And she said, my mother is the mother of the sea. And many people consult with my mom for wealth. So my dad was a businessman. And he started consulting my mom for wealth. And my mom gave my dad wealth. But my dad betrayed my mom. So the dad went intimate with the sisters. And then that's how the other classmate of mine came into the picture. And when they found out, they decided that a human being cannot be the reason as to why they separate, because they are united. So what they decided to do is to enslave him. But he had children who were 100% human, and he had children who were hybrid. And that makes them, and she said that all of them are named after their dad, and they're all called Muhammad. That's their dad's name, and that's how they are able to identify themselves, and that's how they are able to also be beneficiaries of the businesses. That even if he's not there, they are running the businesses and they are beneficiaries. They have lawyers who make sure that every child gets a percentage from the wealth, and even the women that they have to also be able to, he had to be able to help their siblings, their human siblings. Now taking me to where the mother is. I saw a mother sitting in a pool. I will not say it is a small swimming pool like the ones that we are used to. When we say a pool, a person can imagine a small swimming pool. But a pool in that like where we were is a world, but that looks like a pool because it's partitioned. It's the partition place that I saw water, and there's this being that is half fish and half human sitting in that water, and the tail flows all the way from where she is at the end to where we were. So she would even flap the tail and splash some water on the daughter.
So Erica goes through these two pillars and ends up in the underworld, in the ocean. But that's just one of the underworlds. That's not the only one. But the ocean is one of them. And pretty much there's activity, just like you would see buildings, there's cities, just like on the earth, because the devil, he loves to copy. So these things are present as well under the ocean, where you would find different cities, different places, you would hear it later on, laboratories, buildings. I mean, they have their headquarters. They have many, many things going on in the ocean, just as we have many things going on here on the earth. And just because you don't see it does not mean it does not exist. There's a world of people in the ocean, and not everyone is there of their own free will. Like, I mean, these two friends, they belong to that world. But there are many people who have been enslaved in the ocean. How many human beings go missing that we never find? How many people you just see a missing poster, and that person has been missing for years? Never heard a trace of whatever became of that. Do people just vanish into thin air? When was the last time you saw a human being just vanish into thin air? It doesn't happen, does it? That person was taken somewhere. That soul was taken somewhere. You don't just vanish into thin air. And then there are no leads. It's a cold case. Nobody's talking about that person anymore or that case anymore. And that's because these beings, they do have authority in high places on the earth. And they determine a lot of things. They have people set up in many different institutions. that are there to do their bidding. While we are walking around as human beings with our eyes wide shut, as one of their movies said. Wide shut, unaware.
The girl that I called Claudia in the other documentary, they said that girl works for us. She's the health prefect, the school. She has access to the sanitary towels. We gather all that, and then we also use it as part of the material. And then we squeeze out the blood, and we use it as part of the material. I mix with the herbs, and I do very good skin products. She said, have a laboratory. Forget about my mom and the naked men that you see. That one I'm trying to not to go in depth because I know there are children that watch.
Oh, those men were naked?
They were naked, very naked as they were born. And those men were helping them to multiply, because what they want to create a kind of children that can survive both here and there in their world. So now, if they mix with a human being, there are chances of them having a full human baby or a baby who is half tail, half human. So if they have a full human baby, after the baby has matured, they bring the baby here. And the baby lives among us and they grow. So there are some people that are not 100% human. And those are the people who are influencing in business and they are having big positions in power. They are the ones that are positioned in high places. So now, she explains to me, she says, I'm going to start now a beauty company where I'm going to bring things that I believe are going to sell. And I said, what are those? She said, I'm going to sell implants to enlarge people's body parts for women who want to have bigger breasts, bigger hips. If you want to add something to your body, I'm going to bring those implants. But how we work is this. I don't appear anywhere. Me, I'm behind the scenes. I use celebrities to be the face of my product because I don't want anybody to know that I am behind this and I am the owner of this. So even the one who poses as the owner of that company is not the owner. I pay that person to be the face company. And then she said, now I'm looking at working with you because I just liked you. I want to work with you and I'm willing to pay you and I will tell you what we want you to do for us. But for now, I'm just introducing you to who we are. So I said, okay, now what else do you collect from us? And why are you interested in blood? He said, we are not only interested in blood, we are interested in the human ovaries, the womb of a woman, because we are also interested in the fetus. We are also interested in the sperm, in the seed of a human being. We are interested in anything that leads to the life of a human being. And once we attach that to our product, there's no way they can resist because there's power in DNA. They just find themselves addicted to our product, but they don't know why. And that's what makes us to stand out in the market. Now, I said, okay, so what do you do with all these products? You say the fetus, you say the ovaries, you say the blood. How does all this work? And she showed me even the babies that they kill. She showed me how they grind those bones, how they mix it with their powder. She showed me how they make those nails, the powder for the nails. She showed me how they mix
acrylic nails.
Yes, the powder that makes some of those nails. She showed me how they get the blood, how they mix it with that some of the paint that we use for our nails, the ladies. So because it has, how blood dries. So they want that element where when you apply it dries, So they get it from the blood. So they explained a lot about cosmetics that they create there. Not every cosmetic, but some of the cosmetic that they create from that kingdom. So the only way to know is through prayer. You pray over everything that you buy, because there's no way of differentiating which one is coming from where. But one thing you have to know, any product that you see a celebrity promoting, especially those secular artists, promoting that cosmetic, they are promoting that powder, they are promoting that lipstick, they are promoting that product, just know where it's coming from, because their product is very different from the normal product. And she said, I'm working with celebrities and we are going to bring it. We are going to bring our items and it's going to sell. And indeed, she started a beauty company that sold. She made millions of money because the celebrities were promoting that product. But at a certain point, women started rotting. You go and enlarge your butt, and then the butt starts rotting. The breasts start rotting because it's from the marine kingdom. So they don't show you the side effects. They show you the beauty. So, and then it's a lie because they get people who are already beautiful, people who already have the curves, and they lie to you that they also use their product. Yes, so the kingdom of darkness survives on lies. So this one who wants to be like this celebrity will also go and try the product so that they look like the celebrity, and before they know, they are rotting. Meanwhile, the more the people are dying, the more these ones are making money. And you'll be surprised. You'll be wondering why the governments are not shutting down such businesses, because they are selling things that are harmful to humanity. But these people are positioned in high places.
So they have, like I mentioned earlier, their laboratories and so on, where they create their cosmetics and all of the different things that they bring to the earth. Many of the businesses that we have here on the earth are from the marine kingdom. And they tell us by their logos, but again, a lot of us, we're not literate to these things. What does a mermaid or a siren have to do with coffee and cakes, for example? Anybody ever try to figure that out? I mean, normally when you have a logo for a company, it kind of ties into what the company does. And even if it's not a direct image of something that pertains to the company, it kind of makes sense to what the company is about. But when you have a logo that's a mermaid or a siren, and you're selling coffee and cakes, anybody ever stop to question why? Because we just don't question things anymore as human beings. We just go with the flow. We've been programmed, and with everything that we get as an advancement, so-called advancement for us, our brains are just being put more and more on crutches because we're not thinking for ourselves. Something else is thinking for us. You just type in something and it thinks for you. Nobody's thinking for themselves anymore. So they have their labs and so on where they create their cosmetics. And you know, I heard this so many years ago, many years ago, I heard about this, where they use different parts of fetuses and so on to make cosmetics. I heard this a very long time ago. And at that time, it didn't make sense to me. But now I see that, listen, that is true. That is true. And we are always, you know, they get these celebrities and so on to promote their stuff. So everybody wants to get what that person has, but you don't know that person is an agent for the marine kingdom and they're promoting products from that kingdom. They're promoting products that come from that kingdom. And while women are on this earth talking about my body, my choice, and you're free to have an abortion, guess what those babies are for? So you see how the devil works. Let me tell you how the devil works. He will get you to push something that is against your own self. It's against you as a human being, right? But it works in his favor. But he will get you to push it. He will get you to love it, you to promote it, to your own detriment. For his advantage, yes. For his kingdom's advancement, yes. For your detriment, yes. But you, Meanwhile, you're thinking it's something that's beneficial to you. Meanwhile, you're thinking, oh, it's my body, my choice, it's my this and my that, and I can do But those babies are being eaten in the underworld. Those babies are food for them. So the next time you think about my body, my chanting, my body, my choice, think about that.
She decides that I go and see. Now the other mother has allowed me to go and see. And we go to the left side. As I explained, there is this side where my friend went and took my vomit. I've never forgotten that thing. And then we go to the extreme left. Now, I thought I had seen it all until I went that side. I regretted going there. At that point, I felt like my life stopped a bit because of the thing that I saw. Now, I see this being that down is a snake, up it's human. Down is a red snake. Up it is human. It has a golden crown, like a queen. It's sitting on its throne, and the tail covers the pool where it is. Almost the same size as the other one, but a bit smaller. Then the hair, sometimes it would coil, and then you would see like it is forming serpentine heads. Sometimes the hair falls to the back and it covers the pool. This thing is so scary. The tongue, when it's talking, it comes out. You can see like a normal tongue. Sometimes it splits. So it's not one. This is, I don't know how to explain. It's very scary. And then what is calming this thing down? The fact that it's in the pool with my friend, so it cannot come to attack me. My friend Ida told me, by then, she was my friend, she told me, if my sister goes there, you will not be harmed. But if my sister leaves that pool, even us, we don't go there anyhow. This thing is not friendly, and that explains to you why my sister is like that, because that is her mom, and that is how they are. But the fact that they have allowed you to come, they have accepted you.
Okay.
When the thing saw me, it started making a certain sound. And as it started making that sound, now that's when I started, it's like it was communicating to me. But now in the spiritual realm, you're able to understand everything. You're not limited like here in the physical realm.
Okay.
Now, the other one did not communicate to me. This one here communicated to me. And the most annoying part, she was holding a very huge golden mug full of human semen, and she was drinking.
How did you know that was semen in there?
When she was communicating, the things that she communicated to me is now how I got to understand everything that was happening. She told me that for them, they don't hide. Their mission is to kill men, because there will be enmity between the seed of a woman and a seed of a serpent. And she said their mission is to target men. And she has daughters, adopted and biological daughters, that she has sent out to go on that mission and fulfill it for her. And she's so proud of her daughter, the one that we are studying with, because she does that mission very well. And to prove to me that she targets only men, she was drinking the semen. She was showing me the mug that has the semen. As she's producing that sound, you can understand everything that she's trying to say. And she says she attacks men in every way possible. In dreams, she attacks them. She appears like a beautiful woman, and she causes men to have those wet dreams, and they wake up feeling defiled, and she steals their destinies, their sweat, and their energy. She says she drinks their semen and their sweat, and she enjoys doing it. And she told me that if anybody does it for her, she's willing, even if it means to give that person the whole world to do it, she's willing to do it. Because once you accept to work for them, they enter you, and then your face is what they use to seduce men and lure them into their trap. So you've seen those celebrities that men look at and they go and start masturbating? Yeah, so she explained to me everything. And she said that they are in a position of making people powerful, successful, as long as they help them to accomplish the mission. These people that come to work for them, when they are aborting, they are also helping them to accomplish whatever they are supposed to do, because they don't want any seed coming to life, any seed coming from a woman coming to life. So even in that mission, when a woman gets pregnant and they decide to abort, they are sacrificing to their kingdom. And then they survive on the life force, on the energies of those innocent souls that have been killed innocently and prematurely. And she said, we steal and rob men's destinies. And that's what we want you to also help us accomplish, because we cannot do everything on our own. We need the help of a human. Another thing I had forgotten to tell you about Ida, my friend, she told me that when you proceed from where we were, going all the way, there is also another corridor that is sloping, and it's like inside there is a portal.
So it's not like these two goddesses are in the same place. By the time you go in this direction, towards another corridor, when you go through that corridor, you're entering into a portal.
Yes.
That takes you into
another place.
Okay.
So now they said, to go there, I have to go on invitation. And she said that the beings that are there are very dark, not brown, but dark. And those beings are so advanced. They're the ones that create the viruses, the bacteria, the weapons that they use in war, the poisons. They create all those things, but they are not friendly.
Biological warfare.
Yes, they like enslaving. Even some of them sometimes get enslaved by those beings. So they avoid going there as much as possible, unless they need to go there. That's when they go. So those darker ones are not friendly. They are so advanced in the things of war. And the people who go there are the people that are in power. The politicians, the wives to the politicians, those first families, those are the people that go there. And so if you go there, you'll be amazed. You'll find your leaders there. Because it's there that they choose who's going to be in power. Now, we came back to where we were, the first place. I think if a person asks me, how long do you think you stayed there? We could have stayed there like for 9 hours. Because the time we came back, it was like around 4 in the morning. And remember, we left at around 9. So for me coming back and knowing that now I'm back, it was around 4. But before, Ida told me that those men that I see there, they are trapped because of their appetites.
Right.
And some of them are in a position where they cannot escape. But there are situations where their family members find out that their son went missing, and they start praying for their son. And when they pray, they begin to notice that they are being disorganized through prayer. So what they do, they have the ability to erase everything in a man's memory and then dispose him like waste. Because they cannot keep him anymore. No, they don't kill him, because by the time they start praying for you, they don't have power to kill you. But what they do is to only erase your memory and then dispose you of like waste. So when the family members meet this person, they say this person went missing, and now they found him. They say, hey, maybe which name should I use? Hey, Wilson, we've been looking for you. This person will be looking at them and wondering, who's Wilson? When did you start looking for me? Where have you been? He has no answer. Because they have erased his memory. And he was a slave there because they know he knows so much and he's going to expose them. So they make sure when they release that person, he doesn't know who he is. Some of them, they release them when they are mad, but when they see that the family is prayerful, they'll continue praying for him even when he's mad. They just leave him to look normal, but he doesn't know who he is.
Mad meaning that he's lost his mind.
He's lost his mind. Now I know their mission. When I see the other sider with a man, I know that man is going to die. She told me something. I mean, if you have a child who is below 18, even if they are youth, you might need to first take them away and then have to hear what I'm going to say, what she confessed to me. She said, these men, I kill them. I kill them by sleeping with them. I asked her, how do you kill men by sleeping with them? She said, with her beauty, she kills men. And not only her beauty, men who are so lustful, she kills them from their appetites. I said, how? She said, you saw my mom drinking the semen? I said, yes. She said, I do oral sex on men and I make sure I drink their sperm. Any man I do that to, that man has to die. I'll enslave that man. When I know that it's their time to die, I'll quit that relationship. And I have killed many men in the hundreds.
And look at this one here. All these men, like I started off this video by saying, you want to jump in bed with everything that looks pretty and looks beautiful and it has all the curves, the beautiful complexion, and that is, oh, that looks so beautiful, and oh, that is showing some interest in you, but you don't even realize that you are being hunted down. Literally hunted. Because their mission is to kill men. Their mission is to destroy men. So of course they know what men like. They know that men love the beauty and the curves and the this and the that, you're well endowed and so on. So, hey, that's going to be very easy because a lot of men, they are so blind by their own lusts. So she can look at a man and point him out and say, oh, I just killed that one. Through oral sex. Because some men have strange appetites. That's perversion if you ask me. But hey, some people think that's okay. Some people think that's okay. That's perversion. God never meant for a man and a woman to put their mouth in those areas. I mean, seriously. But imagine that you're thinking that you're getting pleasure. You're getting pleasure out of something that is going to be your sudden death. Because now, this person that you just slept with is an agent of the oceans, and she is on a mission to kill men. While you're thinking, oh, this is all nice and fun, she's on a mission to kill men. And you are just one on a list of hundreds of thousands as one of her victims. Isn't that a sad thing? Isn't that a sad thing that when we think about how God has set up these boundaries to protect us, but we want to come against God and say, oh, God is harsh and he's this and he's that. You see, God knows everything. He knows everything. Human beings, we are limited. Even spirit beings are limited. But God knows everything. So when he tells you, don't fornicate, he knows. When he tells you don't commit adultery, he knows what the end results would be for these things. But man, in his insatiable thirst for sin, unrighteousness, we just do as we please. Because it's my body, so I can just do what I want. But there's a price to pay for all of this. There's a price to pay when you decide to live in an immoral life. When you decide to live an immoral life, there's a price to be paid for that. God is real. God is real. He sent his only son to die for us, to save us, because he knows that man cannot pay for that sin. Man cannot pay for his own sin. God's wrath was appeased only through the blood of Jesus Christ. And when you have people who were working for the devil's kingdom coming out and telling you these different secrets of which most people are unaware, you need to take note and not turn your nose up and say that's not true. Who would go to the lengths of making up stuff like this? Besides, these are all written in God's word. All of this is written. All of it is written. Think about your soul. There is a day appointed to man to die, and after death it's judgment. Think about what you will say when you stand before the Most High God. Because you don't have all the time in the world as you are led to think. We don't have all the time in the world as we are led to think. Every man has that appointment with death. There was a very, very famous influencer that died. I think it was last year, yes. And she was just 36 years old. Over 1 million followers, and none of them could have saved her life. Not one could have saved her life. Think about your soul. People could be following you on the earth, but hey, the only one that can save your life is Jesus Christ. I am pleading with souls. Make the right choice for your eternity, because eternity is sure. Regardless of what you have on this earth, regardless of what you've accomplished on this earth or what you hope to accomplish, one thing is sure. There's one kingdom that will endure forever, and all the others will be smashed to pieces. And that's the kingdom of Elohim, the Most High God. Only Yahweh's kingdom, Yeshua's kingdom, will be from everlasting to everlasting. All the others will be smashed. So make the right choice and think about your eternity every day. Thank you for being here. Until next.